You can hear it, can't you? The sound of a fog wall you haven't stepped through in years. The weight of a boss you swore you'd never forget. But here's the question. What if they weren't done with us? What if the horrors of Lordran, Dranlake, and Lothric are just waiting to breach the lands between? This is Elden Ring Nightreign, FromSoft's dreamlike descent into co-op madness, but something's missing. Because while new nightmares stalk the fog, the legends of the past still cast a shadow, and some of them deserve a second round. In this video, we're digging through the original Dark Souls trilogy to find the bosses that need to come back, remade, reforged, and fully unleashed in Nightreign's brutal, looping world. We're talking gods, dragons, forgotten kings, and one guy with a sword so cursed it made an entire timeline blink. When Nightreign cracked open its fog gates and brought back the centipede demon and the gaping dragon, I won't lie, there was a flicker of nostalgia. Gaping Dragon's grotesque cathedral body, Centipede's chaotic lava-flowing arena, they had presence. They had teeth. But let's be honest, they weren't who we were waiting for. Where was the knight whose broken will became legend? Where was the howl that echoed through Artorias' fall? Because if Nightreign is going to keep doubling down on the duo bosses, there's only one answer we deserved from the very start. Artorias and Sif, together at last. I know this would be a massive fan service, but come on, you can't tell me this is not something that you would not love to see. This is poetic justice for these characters. If Dark Souls 1 Sif's fight was heartbreaking and Artorias' fight was legendary, put them together in Nightreign, and you've got a tragedy, a relentless back and forth of corrupted speed and loyal fury. Two different kinds of grief, one night boss, all pain. And while we're talking duos, let's talk about the ones we didn't ask for. The gods can do it. Again, another bloated pair with none of the soul and absolutely none of the spectacle. Where were Ornstein and Smough, the true original duo? Not just two bosses on screen, but two identities colliding. Speed and power, thunder and ruin. One dies, the other evolves. That's the blueprint. That's how you do a duo fight. Dark Souls 1 left legends behind, but Dranlake buried its monsters in silence. And Nightreign, for all its twisted elegance, barely scratched the surface. What we got was Smelter Demon and Duke's Dear Freya. One's a walking furnace who hits like an angry freight train, and the other's a skin-crawling nightmare that drops out of the ceiling like your worst arachnophobic fever dream. Fine fights, even memorable in their own right, but they don't carry the gravitas, they don't carry the weight. So what if, instead of fire and more legs, we got the return of the mirror-bound king? This boss fight felt like an event. He would enter the room, he didn't charge, he waited. He let the storm speak for him. And when the lightning struck, the mirror opened. And this is where Nightreign could have elevated him into something unforgettable. Right now, the game introduced Nightfarers under the tornado. It was a brilliant surprise, a bit chaotic, but disconnected. Imagine if that moment wasn't just Nightfarers appearing in a storm. Imagine if they were summoned by him. Mid-fight, mid-lightning storm, you're circling this juggernaut, dodging his crackling swings, when suddenly his mirror shimmers, and from its surface, a twisted reflection of you emerges. A Nightfarer, maybe one of your past runs, maybe an elite corrupted version of your co-op team, or worse, the perfect counter to your class. This would be the most epic fight in the game, and it would just be a basic night boss, not even one of the Night Lords. The storm outside becomes a war within, every summon pulling your strategies apart, and all the while, he just watches, unmoving, unshaken, like a king who already knows how this all ends. Looking Glass Knight could have been Nightreign's first real mirror, but instead, we just got more molten steel and oversized spiders. But speaking of majesty, Sin, the Slumbering Dragon, the sleeping god of the DLC, toxic breath, ancient sorrow, buried beneath the sanctum like a warning seal in time. You want a boss that feels like a relic from a dead age? Sin is that fight. This boss was cursed elegance in motion. The kind of dragon you don't fight, you wake up, and then you fucking regret it. But here is the biggest missed opportunity of all, the Pursuer. In Dark Souls 2, he was relentless, haunting your progress, appearing when you thought you were safe. So imagine this. In Nightreign, across both playable days, you're making progress, you're healing, you're planning. Then, the music shifts, the sky darkens, and he returns. With a revamped moveset, morphed by time, he raises, ready to pursue you again, and again, until his job is done. We've seen the missed chances, the ones that could have deepened the legend, but this time, FromSoft chose well. The Nameless King is everything a returning boss should be. Mythic, relentless, holy and brutal all at once. The moment he rides down from the sky in Nightreign, it's not just a callback, it's a challenge from history. But the thing about Dark Souls 3 is, it had more where that came from. Sister Friede, the haunting blade of the painted world. Her beauty, cold, her movements sharper than betrayal. A fight that starts as a whisper and ends as a blizzard of blood and ash. She wouldn't just be another duo fight, she'd be an escalation. 3 phases, 3 layers of pain. Imagine her in Nightreign, trading shadow flame spells with the recluse, vanishing into the fog only to counter a duchess' restage with her black flame scythe, an assassin in a frozen chapel of nightmares. And then, Slave Knight Gael. He was already terrifying in the Ring City, savage, broken, all hunger and rage crammed into a single ruined night. But in Nightreign, he would be in search of something new, now that the Dark Soul is not in play. He is here to consume you, your power and skill to add to his own. His first phase alone plays like he's trying to rush you into a very early grave. He's closing gaps faster than Wilder on caffeine, slamming his greatsword into the ground like he's trying to bury you through the level geometry. And then, he catches fire. Literally, every swing lights up the floor with cape fire, and then out of nowhere, BAM! He whips out his repeating crossbow mid-swing. Like, hold up, wait a minute, let me just combo gunfire with my greatsword attacks real quick. And by phase 3, he's basically running a one-man apocalypse. Fireballs that hunt you down, AoE shockwaves that make Guardian Steel Guard look like a suggestion, and lightning crackling off every swing, as if he was just deemed worthy of Mjolnir mid-fight or some shit. He fights like he is in berserk, with a grudge stronger than guts, and the gear of a nightmare. One hand on a slab of steel, the other lighting you up with bolts midair. He don't care what Nightfarer you are, he don't give a damn what relics you chose, and all he does is force you to question why you squared up against him in the first place. So I do have an honorable mention. We have the Soul of Cinder. The final boss of Dark Souls 3 deserves his own slot too, just because his main mechanic of being every build you can be in Dark Souls is kinda unique. Imagine this, he's not as fast or as wild as Gael, but he studies you. In this case, he studies your Nightfarer, allowing him to switch stances mid-fight. So why would he work in Nightreign? One second he's casting Recluse Alchemy at you, and the next he's doing flips and channeling Gwyn with flaming sword swipes. And then, just for shits and giggles, he switches back to Nightreign and hits you with a Wilder ultimate. He's like playing a history book of everything Dark Souls ever was, and if added into the game, everything Nightreign would ever be. Okay, we've gone through the legends we've missed. We've seen what was chosen and what was left to rot. But there's one realm we'll never reach because it doesn't belong to FromSoft anymore. Bloodborne, Sony's crown jewel, FromSoft's most cursed child. And no matter how badly Nightreign needs its nightmare beasts and tragic heroes, we can only dream. But if we could dream, we'd start with Father Gascoigne, a hunter, a man, a monster. He's the gaping dragon, but personal. A humanoid boss whose second phase erupts into sheer feral madness. A total rhythm shift. He's parryable one moment, unpredictable the next. The kind of fight that would belong in Nightrein's ever-rotating boss gauntlet, where the fog gate lies every time you respawn. Then there's Dark Beast Parl, all static and sinew. He's what happens when the beast fights in Nightreign go too far. A skeletal dog god vibrating through space like he's glitching reality. Parl fits Nightrein's tempo perfectly. Erratic, fast, brutal. A chaos demon made of bones and lightning. And if you want grace, bring Lady Maria. Nightreign needs a duel this clean. A one-on-one that isn't about size or spectacle, just speed, precision, and heartbreak. Imagine her parrying you mid-dash, punishing you like she's training you. Because she would. Maria's the kind of boss that demands your respect. And of course, we could add Ludwig. A creature caught between holy purpose and pure madness. Phase 1, he's crawling, shrieking, barely human. But phase 2, when the moonlight hits and he remembers who he was. That sword comes out, that theme drops, and the fog gate, it weeps nostalgia. It becomes a moment you never forget. We will probably never get them. Not Gascoigne, not Maria, not Ludwig. But if Nightreign ever finds a way to let a nightmare in, let it be this one. We've walked through fire, through forgotten kingdoms and broken dreams, through mist duos, silent dragons, haunted hunters, and legends that still echo in our bones. And the truth is, Nightreign brought some great bosses back, but it could have brought the greats back. They were stories, they were warnings, they were fog gates that changed us. And maybe we'll never see all of them in Nightreign. Maybe Bloodborne stays locked behind the Sony vault. But one thing's certain, if FromSoft ever throws open the gates again, we'll be the first to walk through. So if you've got a favorite boss who deserves to come back, drop it in the comments below. Smash that like button, like you just perfect parried the pursuer, and subscribe if you want more deep dives, wish lists, and lore-fueled madness like this every week. We've got more to come, the fog's not done with us yet, and remember, be good to each other. See you in the next video. Peace.